Discovery Grants were created to motivate students and to take advantage of the creativity that teachers have.
We have excellent teachers in this district who have really great creative ideas, but they can't always implement them due to budget constraints. Our purpose with the Discovery Grants is to enable those teachers to have the tools they need to implement some of their creative ideas.
A lot of times teachers have great ideas about what they'd like to do and dreams how they'd like to teach, but the funds just aren't there. And with the Discovery Grant, it allows us to improve our teaching in the classroom.
This foundation is all about giving students new experiences and allowing teachers to be creative in their teaching.
If a teacher has a very creative idea, they can write a proposal to the foundation and ask to be approved for a grant.
Teachers and staff can apply for grants anywhere from $500 to $3,000. In the years the foundation's been active, it's provided funding for teachers pre-K all the way through 12.
We purchased netbooks and all of the associated supplies for my classroom. With these netbooks, my students were able to have hands-on math activities, social studies learning and research, and a lot of exposure to 21st century technology. Anytime a teacher can bring technology into the classroom, it is great because it builds success and motivation for students.
With the Discovery Grant, we purchased probes and sensors that allowed students to use technology in being able to do their research projects for STEM. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. The STEM Expo is basically a science fair where students are able to present their findings from their experimentation. The great thing about these grants is it allows me to give students the opportunity to use technology in a lot of different ways. It really piques their interest in doing science.
With our grant, we purchased materials that would help our kids in a sensory room. So when they are in a situation when they're heightened or when they are experiencing great anxiety or they've had some sort of trauma happen in their life, they are not able to concentrate on what the teacher's saying in the classroom. They're not able to focus on the learning that's being given, and it can come out in a lot of different ways. So the sensory room then allows them to come and process that and decompress some of that anger, some of that frustration, some of that anxiety, and reset and get back to learning so that their mind is clear again and they can focus on what's being presented to them in the classroom.
With our Discovery Grant, we've purchased technology to improve our high school house building project. Specifically, we purchased a laser level that's been really fantastic in all phases of construction. Students have been able to use this equipment to get a better understanding of how we level the foundation, footings, sidewalks, to better place the siding. It has real-world applications. This is what will be used on an actual job site. Students really appreciate being able to be hands-on, and it's really improved my ability to teach these kids what they need to know to become employable.
We were able to purchase a high-def camera for editing and software. The students are able to work every week on producing a live news show. Students are learning journalism skills, writing, editing, interviewing, and are operating state-of-the-art technology. It's valuable lessons in communications, reporting, and journalism. They're gaining confidence in their ability by using this equipment.
With our grant money, we purchased the Amaya embroidery machine, and we also got the IO-Line 300, which is a plotter and a cutter. The students use the equipment to run the Bison Wear business, and they also use the equipment to personalize their own clothing in the Fashion Design 1 and 2 classes. With this grant, we have been very fortunate to teach the students how to digitize the design on the computer. They also get to learn how to run the commercialized embroidery machine. And with the business, they also get to learn the invoicing end of it, delivering, and how to keep the accounting books so we know where we're at, where our profits lie.
We purchased the Smartboard with grant money. A Smartboard is an interactive tool that allows students to engage in their learning. I've used it for math, for ELA, for science. It has allowed us to focus on many different concepts. Any type of curriculum you can think of, I've used it for, so it's really benefited my students and myself in many ways. Especially with technology purchases, we're trying to set students up for life in the 21st century.
Here at the preschool, we were able to purchase indoor play equipment for students with and without disabilities. Children learn through play, and so with this equipment, they're able to reach their full potential. The students were able to increase their social skills, their gross and fine motor movement skills, and work on their creativity and their thinking skills, and also work on some of those emotional skills. For students with disabilities who were unable to go outside and play on the big equipment, this gives them the opportunity they otherwise may not have had.
We purchased a Volksgarden, which is a hydroponic growing device. It includes a light, it includes water, and with some of the money we also purchased some fertilizer and some pots and some soil as well. With this equipment, the students are able to start the seeds. They test the pH, they're also testing parts per million, and with that it's a very good hands-on tool to investigate the scientific process. This project allows me as a teacher to step back and collaborate with other teachers across all curriculums.
This is a great way to bring science learning into the English classroom. We have students researching life cycles of worms, fish, and they might choose to research an individual plant, a nutritional cycle, an animal cycle, and then they write papers on technical and descriptive writing.
Once the produce, the vegetables are fully grown, the culinary arts kids come upstairs, they actually harvest it, take it downstairs and prepare it for food to be sold in our cafe. So our cafe is actually serving food that is totally healthy, grown by our science department, prepared by our culinary arts department, and then sold for a healthy choice for the students for lunch. That just brings the science right out of the textbook, and it makes it real relevant in everyday life.
The Discovery Grant has been great because it's allowed me to be able to bring real-world experiences into the classroom and make math exciting. We purchased cooking utensils, food, and any other supplies that we needed. The goal of the project was for students to use real-world math experiences while they were cooking. All of a sudden, concepts like measurement and fractions become far more relevant and far more exciting for students when they're making meals.
With our Discovery Grant, we purchased a pipe notcher. With this pipe notcher, we're able to teach kids a wide variety of skills and techniques that before we didn't have any access to, and now they can use these. It gives us a wider variety and skill set available for the kids to be able to troubleshoot and solve problems in their projects. If they want to add on and do something with pipe and tubing, they can do this now that we couldn't do before. It gives my students an ability to leave school with some skills that are greatly and widely employable, especially in today's marketplace and industry in the pipe fitting world.
Our grant allowed our preschool students to interact with high school friends during a book reading activity. High school students came to the preschool and read a book to the preschool students about a mitten.
Not only did we purchase books, but we purchased fabric to make and design life-size mittens that the children could get into after hearing the stories.
This was valuable to our preschool students because it allowed them to see what it looked like to serve the community on the other end of the educational spectrum and look forward to what it will look like when it is their turn to go through high school and graduate.
It was a special day. Preschoolers really looked up to the high school students, reinforcing that importance of reading.
What we purchased was the Roland BN20. It is a machine that not only prints on vinyl, but also cuts the vinyl for sign making. They're learning a new type of software that we didn't have previous. Also within the business, they're learning customer service because they're communicating with our clients and learning teamwork, which are all important skills for the 21st century workplace.
We were able to purchase wood so the children could make 4x4 square gardening plots. We also purchased soil and seeds for the children to plant.
So not only did students learn about gardening, they actually built the hoop house. As a teacher, we always like to make learning relevant and fun for the students. And building the hoop house, they were able to apply what they were learning in math class with fractions to building the actual hoop house.
They also learned to work as a team, working together. The Discovery Grant has allowed us to beautify the grounds. It's amazing how many people, neighbors, people walking, driving by have stopped to ask us about the community garden at our school.
While building the hoop house, I noticed that kids who struggle in the classroom were flourishing outside with hands-on materials in the building and applying what they were really learning in the classroom. So it made me see that they learned a lot more than I thought they were.
We can teach children how to eat better, more nutritious meals. It has been a great project for the students and for the staff.
The Discovery Grant has allowed both high schools, CMR and Great Falls High, to take a field trip to Yellowstone National Park each year. The main reason we go on the trip is to take a look at varying ecosystems and how they relate to what's outside of the park compared to what's inside of the park. We look at various aspects of the ecosystems, such as macroinvertebrates. We look at water quality, the stream flow. We actually look at soil samples as well and see how they compare with what's inside the park and what's outside the park.
Insects have different tolerances for water quality. In the Madison, being a blue ribbon trout stream, we expect to see insects that need cold, highly oxygenated water.
You need to be really aware and really cognizant of what is impacting the chemistry of the water. So as you're getting your readings, be asking yourself, why is the reading like this? Maybe why are the phosphate levels high? Why is the oxygen the way it is?
We're measuring the stream flow here, doing soil tests, chemical tests of the water composition.
Students are out collecting information that we're going to use in a formula to try to calculate the flow rate of the stream in cubic feet per second. They're taking soil samples from along the river, running distilled water through them, and then using the centrifuge to get the particulate matter to settle out. Then they'll test the water that came from that particular soil.
One of the biggest advantages of this trip is to get the students out of the textbooks, get them out of the schools, and get them into the actual nature side of science and of learning. Not every high school in the state of Montana or even in the nation gets this chance to go to Yellowstone National Park. This trip for some is a lifelong experience. They will remember it for the rest of their lives. It really is a great trip. We really do appreciate the funding that we get from the Discovery Grant.
Discovery Grant is important because it gets kids learning in a new way.
It is important because it allows educators to widen their vision for lesson planning and not limit what they are teaching their students.
These grants matter because it gives students an opportunity to explore and do things in a classroom situation where they normally wouldn't if it was from a textbook.
They've really helped me as a teacher find more ways to be creative with my curriculum.
Not only are we giving the students skills that they need for the future, we're also engaging them and they're learning in a way that they enjoy learning.
We're so grateful to the businesses and individuals that make Discovery Grants possible for teachers.
Our community has really stepped up and it's given our students the tools they need. The support from the people of Great Falls has been overwhelming. We can't thank you enough.